last but not least, our father of the bride tonight. Let's give it up for Steve, everybody.
So I'm going to bring us home now. This is it. We can party after my little talk. I'm going to start with a story. So 20 years ago, I got a new car. And in the middle of the console was this big rectangular red button. It was particularly large. And between you and me, it was for the emergency hazard lights. The first time Kira rode with me, she got the car, and it didn't take her long, and she said, "Dad, what's that big button for?" And I said, "Oh, well, that's the warp speed button." And she looked at me and said, "What does a warp speed button do?" And I said, "Well, why don't you push it and find out?" So she took her little hand forward and she pushed the button, and simultaneously I hit the gas. She went flying back in her seat. Her eyes got wide open, and she said, "Wow, that's cool." So I was just having fun that day, but I have to tell you, sometimes I think I really did have her hit the warp speed button, because those 20 years have gone by so quickly, and yet here we are. So let me tell you a little bit about Kira. In addition to her love and curiosity of dashboard buttons, she has grown into a wonderful woman. Since she was a little kid, she's always had the heart of Christ in her. And to everyone, she was has always been a friend. She was very active in church activities and youth group activities. She's been on mission trips all over the country, into Central America. And she's such a special person, and her mother and I could not be more proud of the woman she's grown into. And with regard to Hayden, we've got to know Hayden in the last year. And we both just love his calm, gentle, compassionate approach to life and decisions, and we just love how he treats Kira, and it's obvious they love each other. And as a bonus, we've got to know Hayden's family, his mom and dad, David and Kathy, his sister Kayla, brother Evan, and we often say to Kira, you've hit the in-law lottery. My goodness. Sorry, Hayden. You really hit it. So with that in mind, I'd like to share, Jan and I have been married almost 37 years. So I'd like to share I have 5 suggestions. And I'm going to tell you what they are, and you can take it for what they're worth. I'm gonna tell you, I haven't always followed these, but if I had, it would have been a better situation. So number one, it is okay to agree to disagree. And I feel my wife looking at me. I said I'd be honest, and I would follow this. Number 2, don't ever try to compare yourselves to others, because you have no idea what's going on in their life journey. Number 3, if everybody in this room were to take their problems and dump them on the floor, and you could walk around and see everybody's problems, I can almost guarantee you would pick your problems up and keep them. So keep that in mind as you go through life. 4, inevitably in our lives, as a married couple, you will run into so-called disasters, hopefully rarely. But when that happens, and it will, I encourage you to step back from that situation, look at it, and ask yourself, in 5 years, will what we're dealing with matter? And then make your decisions based on that. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, when it comes to chocolate, resistance is futile. Right? So, very shortly here, the wedding party, your friends are going to be leaving, the wedding guests are going to be leaving, you're going to go off on your fancy honeymoon to Switzerland, and you're going to come back home, and you're going to settle into a routine of married life. And it is possible, maybe, that you might get at each other's nerves when you get back, and get back into your routine. For the next week, you're going to be happy as can be. And when you do, I want to share a little trick that I have, and your mom doesn't know this. So many years ago, I was visiting my wife's childhood home, and her mother, Kira's grandmother, was showing me pictures of Jan when she was young, my wife. And I remember very clearly, she showed me a picture of Jan when she was probably in about 2nd or 3rd grade, and she wore this bright red sweater, she had this cute little bob blonde haircut, and this big smile. And I remember it struck me that this woman, this young girl who would someday become my wife, had this zest for life. And so whenever I've been irritated with her, that rare occasion, irritated or angry, I've always tried to reflect on that picture. It has really helped me. And so Hayden, for you, I have a picture of little Kira, which is about 9 years old, and look at that smile. If she does something to upset you, I invite you to reflect on that, and that might make things better. And to not be left out, I have a picture here of little Hayden. He's a cute little kid, and he's a fisherman too. Now, I gotta say though, I don't know how he would ever make you mad. The guy is so nice. I mean, it's just amazing. But I do hope you will reflect on that if either of you get mad at each other. Think about yourselves as young kids and work from there. So with that, I want to propose a toast to Kira and Hayden, Mr. and Mrs. Zellum. May you go through life with great joy, great courage, and whatever you do, don't push the warp speed button. It's fast enough as it is.
One more time, give it up for everybody to give a speech tonight.